we just went back this morning and said, and I spoke to AJ about that offer. I think particularly, he deserves more than 40%, but he's happy. And I don't make the decisions he does.
So you said that you think, and you and AJ think that you're worth more than 40%, but do you perceive a 60-40 split to be a fair offer?
It's the same offer that we made Tyson Fury previously when AJ was champion. So he turned that down, by the way. He said, I'm not fighting AJ for 60-40. We're not saying that, we're saying yes. So the fight has to take place in the UK, and should do, really. I mean, I think that's great for everybody. They're leaving a lot of money on the table by doing it in the UK, but AJ's leaving money on the table by not negotiating. You know, we're accepting their first offer. It's not like we're going back and saying we want 45% or we want 50%. He's just saying, almost like, look, rather than give Tyson Fury a reason to not take the fight, just accept it. You know? So I think they were quite shocked when we came back this morning and said, we accept 60-40. No problem.
What's good, family? It's your man, the YB. Back once again. Big shout out to my doggy, Dylan Young, for coming through and boosting up your man, the YB coin. 100%. So we just heard there from Mr. Silverspoon. Woofing. Doing the most woofing. This was truly shocking and embarrassing to watch. We could have negotiated. Yeah, we could have negotiated and, 64. Are you having a laugh? Seriously? Is this guy having a laugh? Could have negotiated. And this is why I said in my last video, Fury, number one, should have never thrown this guy a bone. But if he was going to throw him a bone, it should have been a bone less than 20%. Who do these guys think they are? And Eddie Hearn erroneously tried to bring in the whole, we offered Fury, when we were champions, we offered Fury 60-40. Listen, when you offered Fury 60-40, he was still undefeated. And bottom line, he never actually lost his belts in the ring. For whatever that's worth, being undefeated, is key. It's key to the public's psychology. It's key to market worth, bottom line. When someone's undefeated, it has this whole mirage of, when you have two undefeated boxers, that's the ultimate, isn't it? Errol Spence versus Crawford. You don't get any hotter than that. Wow, who's the battle of the wills? Who is the best? AJ, about 10 men have had a go on AJ. No one has had a go on Fury. Yes, the first Wilder fight was close. But really, to be quite frank, the fact that what Fury's done since, has completely eclipsed that draw. Yeah? It's not like, YB, he had a draw against Wilder and then had two more draws. No, he wiped the floor with Wilder. Meanwhile, AJ, it's kind of like, look what AJ did against Ruiz. He got mollywopped by Ruiz and then shit his pants. Look at the comparison there. That in itself is value. Seeing how Fury adapted from Wilder 1 to Wilder 2 and 3 compared to how AJ adapted to Ruiz 1 and Ruiz 2. Night and day. Fury doubled down on himself against the biggest puncher in the last 2-3 decades. AJ shit his pants against Mr. Blobby. AJ shit his pants against Mr. Middleweight. That is your legacy, and that is your worth. You've lost to everyone. And even when you did come back for rematches, you either lost again or you shit your pants. That in itself is the opposite of value. What value is that providing? We all know AJ can't even put it on a man half his size. AJ gassed against a man half his size. AJ had one good round out of 24. And even that really wasn't a good round because it was the round which meant that he couldn't do anything for the championship round. So it's kind of like, how good could round 9 have really been when it meant that you couldn't do nothing for the most important rounds of the fight, 10, 11, 12. You know what I mean? If you do, fair enough. If you empty the tank and you knock the guy out, great. But if you empty the tank and it causes you to then lose the rest of the fight, well, what's so good about that? And even then, I'm just debating one round out of 24. Wow. Yeah? You want to sit here and talk about value? You joking? These dudes should have been chewing off Fury's arm for 40%. And for me, it's the whole arrogance. Oh, my name's Apples and Pears, and my name Eddie Hearn, Apples and Pears. Oh, I got some apples, I got some pears to sell. Oh, my Eddie Hearn, Apples and Pears. It's super cringe. I can't deal with it. I don't know what it is about Team AJ recently, yeah. Maybe they've always been arrogant, but I believe arrogance is earned. I've got no problem, yeah. When you're winning, people can call it RYB, you're a fair weather fan. No, I'm a realistic fan. When AJ was on top, yeah, I was the first man saying, you are the boss, because you were the boss. Demand boss rates. But when you're the bum, you can't still be woofing like you're the boss. That's not how it works. We have to be consistent here. I'm a fan of the sport. I'm not a man fan. That's what a lot of you man fans don't understand. Oh, YB, you've turned your back on AJ. No, I'm a fan of boxing, and AJ himself really has turned his own back on boxing. What has AJ given back to the sport? Go on. Throwing another man's belts out the ring. Not turning up back to back to back. Getting turned over on his own turf against a man half his size. There's a reason, many people forget this, yeah. There's a reason AJ went into the fight. The first Usyk fight, he was a 3-1, 4-1 favourite. There's a reason for that. It wasn't just chance. The best and smartest boxing minds said AJ should dominate that fight. Why is that? Oops. Everyone knew he should dominate it apart from himself. So what has AJ given back? To sit there and... I wouldn't even mind. Let's say AJ, yeah, had some storied legacy. Oh, you know what? AJ's got a storied legacy and his value holds. What the fuck? This guy got no legacy. His legacy is Fraudley Harrison 2.0. The new improved AJ is the new improved Fraudley Harrison. AJ sat back here. He saw what Fraudley Harrison was able to do with the whole Olympic win, and AJ took it to a whole nother level. Yeah? And I have to give credit to AJ. I've never seen a man take something and run as hard as AJ did. Most people never thought the Fraudley Harrison empire could get to new heights. Yeah, when Fraudley Harrison bumped BBC out of 10 million, people thought that was the pinnacle. No. Yeah, AJ probably made 100, 200 million. A whole nother level. And the guy's hollow. And he got Eddie Hearn out here. Who are they lying to? I had one goober saying, AJ should be out for 60%. AJ still does the numbers. What are you talking about? AJ blew your Wembley numbers out the water. Oops. Facts. Yeah? AJ was fighting Dillian White in 02. Tyson Fury just literally sold 250,000 tickets. Triple what AJ's ever done. And you're sitting there talking about value. On every single metric, Fury makes this fight 80-20 at best. I'm talking Fury was generous offering 20%. I don't know what he's been doing offering 40. I think it's actually bad business, to be quite frank. I'm quite shocked. I don't understand it. But for that to be the case, a fair valuation is 20%. Based on everything. Fury is still undefeated. You've lost to everyone. Everyone has had a go on AJ. He has no belts. Everyone's had a go on him. Dudes from other divisions have had a go on him. Do you know what I'm saying? Like all the golden rules have been broken. The golden rules to maintaining value or maintaining negotiation value is wins and losses, is belts, is commercial value, is fan value. I mean, what? Every single box, AJ's really at the bottom of his career, if you get what I'm saying. If you looked at all of the AJ stats, yeah, since his careers began, AJ in terms of market value is at the lowest he's ever been at. That's the God's honest truth. Every time he goes in there with someone young and hungry, he loses. That's the truth. Now, AJ is the original old man slayer. I've got to be honest, no one beats an old man like AJ. Then again, he went life and death with Vlad, so that's not even true. He went life and death with Pulev. Took him 10 rounds, had to have a 6-round break, and spent most of the fight backpedaling, dancing out the way. Do you know what I'm saying? Chisora went in there, 40-year-old Chisora went in there and set about Pulev. Even though he's limited in certain areas, still, Chisora set about him and butchered his body. Do you know what I'm saying? And Hearn talking about value. Oh, well, we should have. Tyson Fury is lucky we didn't negotiate for 45%. What? Honestly, do you think Eddie Hearn hears himself? I think Eddie Hearn might be suffering from some sort of psychological trauma. Often, people who go through traumatic events, their mind will be stuck at an earlier time. It's almost like in computer games where you can load an earlier version of the game before you're crashed out. Well, I'm pretty sure Eddie Hearn is exhibiting signs that Eddie Hearn's stuck in 2016. Do you know what I mean? He's completely blanked out that AJ has just been mollywopped twice by a dude half his size. Yeah, that's the reality of the situation. You've got no belts. You've lost to everyone. Got a whole mountain of losses. And I don't know what has AJ got at this point? I'm actually, got to be honest, I am quite shocked at the clout people are giving this event. Oh, YB, Battle of Britain. I'm surprised. I don't see it. Will I watch the fight? But I'm being honest here. There was a time Fury and AJ felt like Pacquiao and Mayweather. That's not the case now. It's just not. Fury and AJ used to be a global event. Now it's a British event. And that's fine. I'm just telling you the scale here. It went from a blockbuster, wow, to a domestic event now. That's the God's honest truth. And I feel things in my heart. I know when things are buzzing. This ain't it. It's not buzzing like that. It's just not. And that has to be reflected. Wait a minute. Why should Fury be penalised? Fury wasn't the one who dropped the ball, isn't it? Fury wasn't the one who dropped the ball. And that's why it's so important for Fury to be compensated fairly. And for AJ to make 40%, that doesn't reflect what's happened. Because AJ, think about it, if AJ was still champion, if AJ was still undefeated, he'd still only be getting 50%, for example. So it's like, what's Fury getting for all of his hard work? Fury's the one who went in there, took risk against Wilder, had to pick himself off the canvas several times. Fury's the one who had to go in there and reinvent himself after the first Wilder fight. You know what I mean? Fury's the one who had a war with Wilder in the third fight. You get what I'm saying? That, in my mind, means something. That's worth something. Otherwise, what are we doing? What are we saying then? Oh, you just go in there. People like AJ just go in there, go through the motions, and still command 50%. Lose all your belts, get punched up by a middleweight, and you're still acting like a big dog. No, that's not right. That's not good for the sport. We need to take the sport back to a place where great actions generate great rewards. At the moment, I mean, people like Dillian White, oh, I'm not being paid enough. People like AJ, people like Dillian White moaning about, oh, I need more pay, I need more split, and they ain't giving nothing back. Meanwhile, people like Wilder, people like Fury, is Fury and Wilder, are they as hard as the men from the 80s and 90s? I don't know, but I'm talking about, as far as this generation goes, they are the best examples of men digging in. That delivers value to the fans, and that in itself that's worth something, isn't it? Fury and Wilder both gave a piece of themselves in that third fight. No one can deny that. Can any of you sit there and say AJ, in any of his last 5 fights, gave himself? Go on. Where have you really seen AJ put himself out? Because even in the last Usyk fight, YB, he put himself out in the 9th round. Well, not really. He had one good round and then he gave in the 10th, 11th and 12th, isn't it? AJ putting himself out would have been him doing round 9 and then trying to. Maybe he'd have failed. Maybe he'd have been knocked out in the 10th by trying. Yeah? But the example would have been doing the 9th round and then doubling down. And if by the 10th or 11th or 12th your wheels fell off and you end up on your back, so be it. At least you went out and you left it all out there. And then my man AJ had the audacity to say, "Oh, if I'd have fought like I did in the gym, then I'd have." Wow. I've been telling you, man, for a long time. AJ has turned into a gym fighter. I said that, word for word. He's turned into a David Price gym fighter. Do you know how many stories there were of how great David Price was in sparring? David Price was the bee's knees in sparring. Do you know what I mean? Oh, David Price. He could do backflips in sparring. And then it came to Under the Lights. He just couldn't cut it. Now, I'm not sure what happened to AJ, but ever since they cloned him, the first AJ, the real AJ, up until about 2016, that one was an Under the Lights fighter. He had that Mayweather switch. He could perform. He'd get better in the competition. But the new clone AJ, he's a gym fighter. Yeah? He looks great in the gym. Under the lights, he's useless. Anyway, I ain't trying to talk about this no more, but honestly, I can't lie to you. As far as boxing goes in 2022, I feel in a good position. And that's not often it's the case. Often I'm dying for one particular outcome, but at this point, yeah, I'm happy either way. Either Fury's going to mug these guys off and the fight's not going to happen, or it happens and I get to see AJ knocked out. So it's win-win for me at this point. But like I said, I can take it either way. I guess the only way I'll be done wrong is if the fight happens and Fury doesn't knock him out, or Fury decides to box him. I hope Fury sets about him and punches this arrogance out of both of them. Seriously, who does Eddie Hearn think he is to sit there and say, we could have negotiated for 45? You haven't, honestly. I'm sorry, it's despicable. It really is. Call it business, call it what you want. I think that what happened to too often, I feel, in this capitalistic society, yeah, people just try and take the piss. It's a bit like the energy companies, yeah. Rather than saying, you know what, we're making good money. Why do we don't need to increase the price 5 times to try, we don't need to jump on the whole Russia thing to squeeze more money out. Why can't you just be happy making 50% profit? Why do you have to make 500% profit? And with that, I'm saying, why can't AJ and Eddie Hearn just say, you know what, man, Tyson and Fury has thrown us a huge bone here, yeah? Let's just be grateful. And you can say, well, they have been grateful because they're going ahead with it. No, listen, if they were being Eddie Hearn, you heard Eddie Hearn. Oh, well, AJ told me this, that, the other. AJ seems to be smarter than Eddie Hearn is. But that's the problem you see with Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn is a silver spoon. He himself has never really had to give anything. Has never really had to generate any real value. All he's ever done is pop out of his dad's Johnston and then be put into the Matchroom empire. So it's all fall into his lap. So when you miss a silver spoon, you can just say, oh, we want more. Because why not? You've never had to actually work for anything. Yeah, but when you've actually had to put yourself out there and bleed and sweat like Tyson Fury has, it's easy for Eddie Hearn to say, oh, Tyson, we should have half. Even though you're the one who's given yourself to the sport. What planet are these guys on? Show me, yeah, where AJ has given. Give me the equivalence. Show me, yeah, where time and time again AJ has turned up and put a shift in like Tyson Fury has. If that was the case, yeah, that's how the fight's 50-50. You know what I mean? If AJ was some real warrior, even without the belts, you know what I'm saying? If AJ was some real warrior, you could make the argument there. You know what, man? Listen, he's earned it. Yeah, he's lost now. Yeah, he's not got the belts now. But previously in his career, AJ's really shown himself. Let's give him a final payday in respect. Do you get what I'm saying? It's a bit like Chisora to some extent. Chisora almost gets that qualification. Let's give Chisora a payday because he has given himself a bit to the sport. You know what I mean? One of them ones. AJ, no one can say that. And it's people like Eddie Hearn, you see, which have moulded AJ to be the way he is. No one telling him the truth. Oh yeah, AJ, you're still worth 50%. Even with no belts, even with losing to everyone, even with delivering crap performances to the fans, you're still worth 50-50. Eddie Hearn should have sat AJ down and said, listen, AJ, even though Fury's offered you 40%, we're not worth 40%. Yeah, let's counter offer and tell Fury, listen, Fury, we don't deserve to take an extra 20% from you. We're only worth 20. That's what should have happened. If the world was just, yeah, that's what should have happened. Fury, who are we to take 20% out of your mouth when you've been the one who's actually given yourself to the sport? Yeah, we are pumped up gym fighting bums. And we turn up, God's honest truth, AJ, if AJ can turn up and go through the motions and win, he'll win. But anything that's outside of that average performance or below average performance, he ain't interested. He ain't trying to dare to be great. He ain't trying to refuse to lose. And if you disagree, show me. Just tell me the fight. Go on. Show me the fight where you've seen AJ. Oh, YB, what about? Oh, but 2017. Okay, no, 6 years ago. Are you serious? Are you, man, still quoting the fight that took place 6 years ago against an old ass man? Let's not forget, people, Vlad, yeah, was never some big bruiser himself. Vlad himself had a questionable heart. In fact, it was the AJ fight which revived a lot of Vlad's legacy. Up until the AJ fight, Vladimir Klitschko was going to go down as the man who was quite scared and who never really wanted to squabble. That's the truth. Yeah. So AJ goes life and death with a man who's renowned for not going life and death. It's not like AJ, oh well, AJ overcame a man whose career was made in the trenches. Vlad's career was made. Vlad really has no experience going to the trenches. That was his only fight. Call me a liar. Show me a fight in Vladimir Klitschko's 10-year legacy. Show me a fight he himself went to the trenches. He didn't. So AJ overcame an old, inexperienced trench fighter. And that's the peak of your career. And that's what AJ's given to boxing. Fucking hell. And this is the man who deserved 50% against a man like Tyson Fury. You got to be, honestly, on another planet. And that's why I don't know what Fury be doing, truth be known. I don't know what he's thinking. He's taking money out of his own mouth. It's baffling to me. And in all seriousness, people say, oh well, YB, Fury wanted to make sure the fight happens. Listen, in all honesty, this fight should happen at 20 or 25%, for example, if you get what I'm saying. Why wouldn't AJ take this fight at 20%? Dillian White took the fight at 20%. Dillian White was a mandatory. I said before in my other video. Guess what? Floyd Mayweather would pay his opponents less than 10%. That's a fact. Floyd would make 50, 60 million on a pay-per-view. He'd pay Andre Berto 4 mil. Yeah? So, if Floyd Mayweather was paying random voluntaries 10, why does Tyson Fury need to pay more than 20? I think 25 is probably fair. I think Dillian got 20, yeah. 25 is fair because AJ's AJ's got a bit more UK clout. But really, a lot of that UK clout came from being a destroyer, being aggressive, winning fights, actually beating people, actually knocking people out. Really, who's he knocked out? AJ's last knockout was against 50-year-old Pulev. Like I said, anyone who was young and in form, AJ can't knock out. He can barely beat them. Well, he can't. Couldn't beat Usyk. Really, he couldn't beat Ruiz either. Ruiz beat himself, truth be known. The Ruiz who just fought Ortiz probably would have beat that AJ, truth be known. I'm going to be honest with you. The Ruiz who beat Ortiz probably beat AJ, truth be known. Oops. That's your legacy. Yeah? Mr. Blobby whooped you and Mr. Middleweight whooped you. Twice. Both of them whooped you twice. I'm going to call a spade. Because, yeah, AJ may have won the Ruiz rematch, but in reality, Ruiz broke your spirit. Ruiz turned you out. AJ was known as the Crusher until he walked into Andy Ruiz. Andy Ruiz turned him out and had him running tricks in jail for him. Big facts. Yeah, AJ was running tricks all around the ring for his pappy, Ruiz. Big facts. Anyway, listen, get this clown Eddie Hearn out of here. I hope part of me hopes Fury is clout chasing, just to mug these guys off, because the arrogance is just too much for me now. What happened to be? I mean, I'm sorry, but in 2022, what happened to being humble? What happened to just sitting there and saying, you know what, man, Fury really has thrown us a bone here. Let's just say, you know what, Fury, we're grateful. What's wrong with that? You know what I'm saying? Why has everyone got to try and act like a big dog? Oh, well, we could negotiate. You couldn't do shit. You're worth 20% at best. Get serious. Anyway, big man ting. You might know what time it is. Massage the like button. Subscribe and your boy will be back 100%.